Hi everyone! So I wanted to do a video today to share with you some of our thoughts on something that's received quite a lot of negativity out there on social media lately. And that's the location change and the split of the male and female Ironman World Championship race. Now, I totally understand why this might be negative in terms of its impact on many people out there. But for us, we see this as a wonderful opportunity and a huge positive for so many of the females out there to have their own race on their own day, its own location, without at all being overshadowed by the male race. What a wonderful opportunity that is for females in this sport, and to encourage a much greater level of participation in the sport as well. And some of you may have seen on our social media recently that we pulled lots of the female athletes from Passion Fit together here to Passion Fit HQ to bring them in for a little meeting to talk through how we might be able to use this opportunity to bring huge value and positivity and levels of accomplishment to each other's journey that we may not have saw possible beforehand. And I know that this is something that Lydia in particular has a really wonderful vision for. It's a race that no doubt Lydia will want to be involved in, but I think, as she'll tell us in a moment, it's something that she wants to share with so many of the people that also share her journey. She doesn't want to go at it alone. She wants to be part of something really special there, not just for herself, but part of a greater community, a greater sense of adding value and level of accomplishment to so many females. So we asked Lydia a couple of questions about her thoughts about that split in terms of the male and female race and location change, and how we might be able to use that to add so much value to so many females' journeys, specifically in the Passion Fit world. And hopefully at a later date to more females out there too.
I think it's a wicked idea. So I was actually quite relieved when I saw that. For loads of different reasons. So I think the first thing for me that really stood out with that whole piece around Nisa versus Kona is last year there was lots in the media around Kona and that more like sort of how the triathletes had gone and taken over the island. So it felt like it wasn't that sort of symbiotic relationship that Kona once was, with the triathletes coming along and getting the privilege of being able to race at Kona. It felt like it had moved to a more, well, we're entitled to be at Kona because this is where we have the Ironman World Championships. So for me, that I didn't really want to be part of that culture that seems to be growing. And being at Nice, totally new, different race location for an Ironman World Championships. I love the fact that the 70.3 Worlds rotates around. I think it's brilliant on so many different levels. It means you're not always having to go to the same location. I know there's loads of history with Kona, but for me, that whole piece of actually, if you're going to an Ironman World Championships, why does it have to be at the same place every year? It can be at any place in any course, and surely that's the beauty of it, is firstly getting to experience loads of different courses, being able to test yourself on a different type of race as well. Like Nice versus Kona is going to be quite different, just with the nature of like the bike course itself, but also that whole race experience of being able to share that World Championships feel with somewhere that really, really wants to embrace it as well. So the race should add more value to the location it's having the privilege of being hosted at, rather than detracting from it. That's what excites me more, is making sure that we're finding that balance, and I think it's a brilliant decision to split them out, and making sure that that's being kept in the right way. And I think for me, it's actually more saddening that it's like got to the point where that wasn't that feeling, and some of the behaviours that I've seen from social media, etc., last year at Kona. So yeah, I think it's a very, very positive decision. I thought about this one for quite a while, because one of the things that was brilliant about having the 70.3 Worlds, and with having so many athletes across Passion Fit from both men and women racing, was we got to go and share that experience together. So initially I was thinking, do you know what, it's a bit of a shame that we wouldn't necessarily be able to go and have that experience at the Ironman World Championships. But I then rethought about it and was like, actually, do you know what, I think it is actually a very, very good call. It means that the women's race gets that platform. I think it was very good this year with having the men's and women's race on separate days, I think last year. But again, it still wasn't, I wouldn't say it was, the women didn't have that platform like they would if it was just the day on their own. It was still overshadowed, I think, in terms of viewing ratings, and correct me if I'm wrong with this, I think it was still on a lesser day. And if they'd have switched them around in terms of the days, that maybe it would have been slightly different, and someone's always got to go first and someone's always got to go second. I get that. So I think that it makes sure that the women's race is solely isolated. It gives that platform. Running on different dates and different locations allows that. So yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very strong move across the board to make sure that focus is totally there. This I'm hyped about. Like, probably as soon as I saw it was like properly confirmed, I was like, right, yeah, game on, this is happening. And that wasn't actually for me. Immediately I just saw this total like vision about how I could see this whole journey going, and it was about helping the other women in Passion Fit who would love to go and race at the Ironman World Championships to prepare to qualify. And that was the thing, it's like not about that race or like racing at the Ironman Championships himself, it's that actually, do you know what, there's a shared vision, there's a shared journey there of something that we can do. And I think for me it was that opportunity of, oh, do you know what, like I never thought I'd be doing what I do today. And I think so many of the people that we work with would probably never even, I think, I don't want to speak out of turn, but on behalf of us all, but most of us have probably achieved more than we thought we would in our lives already. And like being able to qualify to go and race at the Ironman World Championships, I think takes it up another level again. And what I wanted to do was to try and see if collectively the way that we support each other really, really uniquely in Passion Fit, if we could then prepare to qualify to go and have that shared experience and race together at the Ironman Championships is something that we could achieve. And I think the unique way we go about things will facilitate that. And this year, if we can, I mean, in my head, I'd love to see about 5 of us qualify this year for 2024, 2026. I'd love to make that 10. And I think being able to do that is just an incredible adventure you're going to look back on, and you're going to remember that experience for the rest of your life. Not the fact that you've got to race at the Ironman World Championships is obviously incredibly cool, but I think it'll be the 20 months we've got that we're all going to remember, building up to that race, how we prepared, how we went to the qualification races, like the trials and tribulations that are gonna happen in that, but also look back and probably realise that in that journey, how we supported each other, probably developed as people as well, and done something that probably never any of us envisaged we ever would in our life. So for me, yeah, I'd love to go and race at Nice 2024. I think like the course, it just screams get me there, like on so many levels, especially the bike course. I think that's going to be pretty wicked if I think it's going to be what it's going to be. But it was also that opportunity of it's so much more accessible, it's a European location, and that knowing that we collectively as a community have the opportunity to showcase exactly what we do and have that amazing shared journey towards that qualification process, and then having a massive party in Nice. So I was like, right, we're going to kickstart this off properly, and I got a flip chart out, we had post-it notes, we had a lot, but it was more about, well, understanding what each other's whys were and what being able to do that would mean to them. And that actually then meant that everyone in the room actually then worked out and said, actually, how can I support you? And actually, this is what I could do to help with that piece. It actually turned into no one was talking about their interest for the race. Everyone was then looking at thinking, actually, do you know what, I could help you to do that. So that was the biggest part for me, was like to understand someone's why for wanting to do this, because if you don't have that on point, then you're never going to be motivated to work towards that as a goal or a vision. And also back yourself, because there is no guaranteed outcome that you're actually going to qualify to be able to go and race at that. So it's a massive investment from that side. We then had a look at, okay, well, we've got all of us in the room with really different personality types. How can we all support each other? What sort of player on the pitch are you? And that's really important as well, is to utilise the skill sets we have and each other's strengths, and also understand what each other's development areas might be too, to be able to, again, like I said earlier on, help themselves become better versions of themselves in that process. And then we just looked at what that journey might look like, and actually understand from like the sort of training perspective, preparation, etc., what that realistically would take to go in to prepare to the best of your ability to look to qualify at a race. So yeah, we covered loads of areas, and I have a whole list of other workshops and ideas that we're going to come up with. So it was a pretty epic way to start it, but the best thing for me was it was just great just to have the buzz and the atmosphere in the room. Like, we could have already sat and chatted about, like, well, for hours and hours and hours, but it was just that buzz that we felt, like having that collected sense of like belonging, togetherness, and feeling, right, here we go, we can support each other. This may be like an idea that's beyond our wildest dreams of something that we could achieve, but actually together we can make this a realistic thing to happen. So let's go and get it. So we looked at if anyone's watched Ted Lasso. We did ask who they might be, and I said I was Rebecca because I'm cold on the outside, but properly soft on the inside. And I'll be the person that might give you not what you want, but probably what you need. So yeah, don't come looking to me for sympathy, but I will help you sort out solutions.
And I'm also just going to pan in case you could hear the snoring in the background.